Hi all, welcome back to the channel. So I want to do this kind of quick bonus video, and I want to try and kind of keep it in about kind of 5 minutes if possible. But I want to quickly kind of talk about prompt engineering, because when you're creating an application in AI, it's extremely important that the prompts that you actually give to your AI model are accurate for what you're trying to retrieve from the model. So what you want to get from the model depends on what you actually pass into the model. So let me kind of, if you go to ChatGPT and sort of say, what actually is prompt engineering? So prompt engineering, it's a data science field in itself. And having good data scientists will help you determine, what is the correct prompt for that specific model. Because remember that there's many different types of models that are actually available. But actually having the correct prompt for that model is critically important, and like at a low basic understanding, it says the prompt engineering is the process of designing and redefining the instructions, which are the prompts given to AI models. So to get accurate, useful, and high quality responses. So that, kind of summarizes what really you're trying to do is get accurate, useful, and high quality responses. It sort of says, why it's important. The AI models don't understand like humans. They respond based on patterns and language. So if I'm kind of vague and I sort of say, please help me create a travel plan to Japan, the prompt itself will kind of come back probably, with streams and streams of kind of information about, here's your flights, here's your hotels. It's only when you sort of say, well, actually, I want to go to Japan, but I also want to go in, summer, so to avoid the rainy season. I want to stay in these towns and these cities. I want to make sure that, my visa and control checks are good for the airport. And when you're kind of really specific about the information that you're actually looking for, you know, tell me, about Japan. If you said that to, um, a human, they'd probably tell you back the information um, that you're looking for. Some people will kind of, maybe give you extra information, but they probably will at the end of the conversation give the information that you're actually looking for. But it's only when you start, specifically drilling down into those kind of big questions that you want to ask that person. AI is exactly the same. So, if you want to get a really, really good response, um, from your AI model, make sure that your prompt engineering, skills are optimized for that model itself. So make sure that, your question is clear, you've got clarity, you ask some specific information, like it sort of says here, AI models don't understand like humans. So possibly some human, if you ask them the same question, will understand what you meant. But the kind of point is that an AI model is not exactly the same as that. So, prompt engineering, it is a big subject, let's sort of say, and some of the kind of, the common techniques are like in clear instructions, role prompting. So ask the AI as an expert. So, pretend you're the doctor, pretend you're a travel agent, pretend you're a lawyer, pretend you're a tutor, a few shot prompting. So, give examples of how the actual, output will look like, look for the kind of chain of thought prompting. So ask to explain reasoning step by step. So, if I want to go to Japan and I want to go here and I want to go there between these dates and I want to avoid rainy season, ask them to let you know what their thinking actually was, and why they kind of came up with that kind of answer. And then you can kind of redefine your question if that's not exactly what you're actually kind of looking for. Because don't forget that, when you build applications, you're building them for your customers, and your customers have to have exact clarity on what they're looking for. So it's critically important that the customers get exact clarity, and it's our job as solutions architects to make sure that we pass in, and define exactly what we're looking for that model. Because at the end of the day, it's all about getting the customer to the correct um, answer that they're actually looking for to help them. Thank you.